What if the secret to financial freedom after 40 wasn't about money at all? Imagine the Emperor of Rome. Marcus Aurelius, sitting in silence at dawn, the sun rising over the marble columns of his palace. He opens his journal not to plan conquests or count gold, but to ask himself one question. What is within my control today? He writes, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now imagine bringing that same stoic discipline into your own life. You don't need an empire. You don't need luck. You need clarity, consistency, and calm action, the kind that compounds like interest. Because after 40, your greatest investment is not your money, it's your mindset. The Stoics believe that wealth without wisdom is slavery, but wisdom creates freedom, even in poverty. What if the path to passive income isn't a secret strategy, but a way of living? As Marcus wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So today, let's rebuild wealth the Stoic way from the inside out. Part 1. The Midlife Illusion. At 40, many people look in the mirror and whisper quietly, is it too late? Too late to build wealth. Too late to start over. Too late to live the life they once dreamed of. They scroll through social media watching younger entrepreneurs flaunt success, and the weight of regret grows heavier. They think, if only I had started sooner. But Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, would have smiled and said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. The Stoics believe that time is never lost until you waste the moment in front of you. Midlife is not the end. It is the forge where true wisdom begins. According to Fidelity Investments, the average person doesn't reach their peak earning potential until the age of 47. You have experience. You have discipline. You have perspective, things youth can't buy. You don't need more time. You need more focus. Marcus once said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. And that is the essence of the Stoic way, not to dream of virtue, but to live it now. Every day, millions of people live on autopilot. Wake, work, worry, sleep, repeat. That is not living, that is survival. The Stoic reminds us, you are not a slave to circumstances. You are the master of your reactions. Imagine two men at 40. One complains about the system, his boss, the economy. The other sits quietly each morning and writes a single line in his notebook. What is within my control today? Then he acts. He learns about money not to chase wealth, but to master himself. He studies investing habits and discipline. And 5 years later, he achieves the freedom the other man only dreams of. The illusion of too late is the greatest lie of modern life. Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 62. Ray Kroc built McDonald's in his 50s. Socrates began his journey into philosophy after 40. The Stoic doesn't measure success by age, but by alignment, the harmony between purpose and action. Marcus wrote, think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Because when you stop fearing time, you start using it. In 2023, Bloomberg reported that 38% of new entrepreneurs were over 40. The average business owner starts at 45, and those over 40 have 65% higher success rates than the young. Why? Because they've lived, they've failed, they've endured. Stoicism teaches that pain is not the enemy, it's the teacher. The obstacle is the way Marcus wrote. Every setback is a seed of strength if you choose to see it. Let me tell you a story. A man named Thomas worked 20 years in corporate sales. At 45, his company collapsed. He lost his income, his identity, his confidence. For months, he drifted in despair until one morning he opened a book called Meditations. One line struck him like lightning. You have power over your mind, not outside events. He took a blank notebook and wrote, My Stoic Comeback Plan. He started small, woke early, exercised, learned one financial skill every day. He saved, invested, and built systems. Within 2 years, he launched his own consulting business. By 48, he earned more passively than his old salary. Not because of luck, but because of clarity, discipline, and consistency. Many people die at 40, but aren't buried until 80. They stop learning, stop growing, stop dreaming. But Stoicism teaches that you are not what happens to you. You are how you respond. Every moment after 40 can be a rebirth. Marcus said the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Your thoughts are your real currency. Your attention is your true investment. Financial freedom begins in the mind long before it appears in your account. So how do you begin? Start by reclaiming your attention. Before checking your phone tomorrow, write 3 sentences. What's within my control today? What habit or skill can I improve by 1%? What emotion will I master instead of letting it master me? Do this for 30 days. You'll feel the change not just in your mood, but in your momentum. Discipline compounds faster than money. It's never too late to become the person you were meant to be. Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." And Epictetus reminded us, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Your 40s are not a decline, they are an awakening. The time when experience meets intention. The time when you finally see that true wealth is not about possession, but about purpose. This is the midlife illusion, the lie that your best days are behind you. In truth, your most powerful years are just beginning, because you now have something youth doesn't: the discipline to act without distraction, the courage to live without comparison, and the wisdom to focus only on what matters. So ask yourself tonight, if Marcus Aurelius lived in your time surrounded by noise, by fear, by greed, what would he do? He would sit quietly. He would breathe. And he would write, "What's within my control today?" Then he would take action with calm, with conviction, and with purpose. The Stoic does not chase success. He builds the character that attracts it. He doesn't seek motivation. He practices discipline until it becomes his nature. After 40, your story is far from over. In fact, it's finally getting interesting. So take what remains: your time, your focus, your energy, and live it properly. Build habits that earn interest. Invest in knowledge that multiplies. And master your mind, because that is where true passive income begins. This is not the end of your journey. It's the start of your Stoic transformation. And in the next chapter, we'll uncover the formula, the timeless Stoic strategy to turn your discipline into financial freedom, to create wealth not by luck, but by wisdom. The Stoic does not wait for calm seas. He learns to stand still in the storm. Part 2, the Stoic formula for passive income. After 40, wisdom becomes your greatest capital. You've seen enough victories to know success is never instant, and enough losses to know discipline is worth more than luck. Now it's time to transform that discipline into wealth the Stoic way. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A man should be upright, not kept upright." Passive income is built on that idea. Wealth sustained not by external forces, but by inner order. Lesson 1, control the controllable. Every storm begins with a choice: panic or prepare. The Stoics taught that serenity comes from focusing only on what is within your control. In finance, that means managing what touches your hands, your spending, your learning, your daily actions. You cannot control inflation, markets, or politics, but you can control your discipline, and that is where wealth is forged. Warren Buffett once said, "The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect." Temperament, that calm endurance under pressure, is pure stoicism in a suit and tie. Imagine your monthly income as a river. If you constantly chase new streams, you exhaust yourself. If you learn to redirect and conserve the flow, the river feeds the land forever. Start with clarity, track every dollar. According to CNBC, people who monitor their expenses weekly save up to 40% more each year. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence builds momentum. Marcus advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Apply this to your money. If an expense doesn't serve your values, cut it. If an investment doesn't align with your understanding, skip it. Financial peace is not about abundance, it is about alignment. Lesson 2, practice daily detachment. The Stoics warn that attachment breeds suffering. Marcus wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Passive income begins with the art of wanting less. Every unnecessary desire is an invisible tax on your freedom. Detachment doesn't mean you reject comfort. It means comfort no longer rules you. The average American spends $315 a month on impulse purchases. That's nearly $3,800 a year, the seed of an investment portfolio lost to fleeting emotion. If you redirected that money into an index fund yielding 7% annually in 20 years, it would grow to $165,000. That's the power of restraint, the compounding effect of calm. Seneca said it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. When you stop feeding impulse, you feed opportunity. Create a 24-hour rule. When you want to buy something unplanned, wait a day. If the desire fades, you bought your freedom. If it remains, you buy with awareness, not emotion. Detachment turns consumption into choice, and choice is control. Lesson 3. Build systems, not goals. The Stoic doesn't chase outcomes, he builds processes. Goals depend on conditions, systems depend on consistency. Instead of saying, I want $1,000 a month in passive income, design a structure that makes that inevitable. Automate your savings. Set an auto transfer of 20% of your income into investments every month. If you earn $4,000, that's $800 saved without thought. Over 10 years at 7% growth, that becomes $138,000 achieved not by brilliance, but by rhythm. Then learn to monetize your skills. Teach what you know, write digital products, or consult online. You don't need millions of followers. You need value and consistency. A 2024 HubSpot survey showed that creators with fewer than 10,000 followers earned an average of $52,000 a year because they built systems, not hype. Systems outlast excitement. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Your frustration is the blueprint for your product. If you struggled with time management, build a course about focus. If you mastered midlife reinvention, teach that journey. Every obstacle hides a market waiting for your story. The 3 pillars of the Stoic income system. 1. Automatic savings. The foundation. The first virtue is consistency. Money you never see is money you never spend. Start automatic transfers to an emergency fund and low-cost index funds. 2. Skill leverage the engine. Your expertise is your modern empire. What do people ask you for advice on? Package that insight into something scalable, courses, ebooks, workshops. Remember, passive income is rarely instant. It is built through active mastery that eventually compounds. 3. Asset accumulation. The crown. Real estate dividends, digital products. These are reflections of your discipline, not replacements for it. Seneca warned, it is difficult to bring people to goodness with riches, but easy to bring riches to goodness. When your habits are sound, wealth follows naturally. The Stoic mindset behind money. To build passive income. The Stoic way is to think long-term, detached from noise. Markets will rise and fall. Your character must not. The goal is not riches. The goal is freedom from financial anxiety. Marcus said, if you seek tranquility, do less. Do only what is essential. Avoid the frantic chase for quick returns. Be patient, because compounding is Stoicism in mathematical form. Albert Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. The Stoics would agree, not because of the math, but because it mirrors virtue: slow, steady, inevitable. A modern example. Maria, a 42-year-old teacher, discovered Stoicism during a burnout. She stopped chasing side hustles that drained her time and focused on structure. She automated investments, built a blog sharing Stoic lessons for educators, and turned it into a digital course. 3 years later, her course earns $2,000 a month. But what she values most is peace. She says, I stopped trying to make money every day. Instead, I started creating value every day. Money followed later. That is the Stoic formula: purpose, first, profit, second. The data behind Discipline Harvard Business Review found that people who practice consistent daily routines are 60% more productive and 40% less stressed. This mirrors Marcus's principle: order, not chaos. Action, not distraction. Each habit, journaling, budgeting, exercising, learning, becomes a compound interest of character. Soon you realize wealth isn't about working harder, but about thinking clearer. The Stoic investor doesn't gamble. He calculates. He doesn't react. He responds. He doesn't chase trends. He trusts principles. Practical exercise for the week. Write down your top 3 controllable financial actions, for example, automatic saving, learning a skill, or cutting one unnecessary subscription. List one emotion that sabotages your financial discipline, maybe fear or impatience. Each time that emotion appears, pause and repeat Marcus's mantra. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Track this for 7 days. By the end of the week, you will notice less stress, clearer focus, and momentum that no market crash can shake. Reflection. After 40, money is no longer about accumulation, it's about alignment. You are building not just income streams, but inner streams of calm. Financial independence is the external reward, inner peace is the internal one, and both grow from the same root discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't own stocks, but his mindset created an empire of influence that still pays dividends 2,000 years later. Your mindset can do the same. The formula is simple but not easy. Control what you can, detach from what you can't, and build systems that make discipline automatic. Over time, your wealth, like your character, compounds silently. You become stable while the world panics. You become calm while others chase, and that calm becomes your competitive edge. So tonight, ask yourself, what system will I build tomorrow that my future self will thank me for? Because in the end, passive income isn't about escaping work. It's about creating a life where work and peace coexist effortlessly. As Marcus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Master your habits and your income will follow. In the next part, we'll construct the Stoic income engine, the three-level pyramid that turns daily virtue into lifelong prosperity. It's not magic, it's mastery. And mastery begins with the moment you decide to act calmly, wisely, and relentlessly. Part 3, the Stoic income engine. After 40, discipline becomes your compass. And when that discipline meets philosophy, something extraordinary happens. Wealth turns from a chase into a rhythm. The Stoic income engine is not just a plan for money, it is a philosophy for power without noise growth, without chaos, and freedom without excess. Marcus Aurelius ruled the mightiest empire on earth, yet each dawn he wrote not about Rome's conquest but about self-command. Look well into yourself, he said. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. That strength, quiet, patient, and deliberate, is what fuels the Stoic approach to wealth. Building passive income after 40 isn't about speed or luck. It's about structure. Imagine a pyramid. At its base are your habits, in the middle your skills, and at the top your assets. Together they form the engine that never sleeps. It begins with the foundation, your body, your routine, your energy. Seneca once said we should treat the body rigorously that it may not be disobedient to the mind. Without health, all ambition decays. If your mornings are chaotic, your finances will mirror that chaos. If your body is tired, your mind will hesitate, and hesitation compounds faster than interest. Start the day with silence, not screens. Breathe deeply, stretch right, 3 intentions before sunrise. According to Harvard's 2022 research, people who practice morning mindfulness improve decision accuracy by 23%. That clarity compounds. Every calm choice becomes another line on your financial balance sheet. Wealth begins with presence, not pressure. Health also means financial fitness. Track your income and expenses, not as punishment, but as awareness. Each note, each figure is a mirror of your discipline. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. Every small obstacle, a tired body, a missed saving goal is not failure, but feedback." When you master your body and your schedule, you master your destiny. Once the base is strong, power multiplies through skills. After 40, experience is your capital. You've already earned lessons most people are still paying for. The question is not whether you can compete with the young, but whether you can teach what you've mastered. The Stoic doesn't chase trends, he invests in timeless value. Focus on what will still matter 10 years from now: communication, leadership, emotional control, digital literacy, and financial strategy. In today's economy, attention is currency, but credibility is wealth. The Stoic chooses the latter. He knows that teaching what you know with integrity attracts loyalty that no algorithm can replicate. Forbes predicts that by 2025, the creator economy will exceed $500 billion, yet 80% of that value will go to teachers, consultants, and professionals who share real knowledge, not noise. You don't need to be an influencer. You need to be an educator. Turn your expertise into a course, a digital product, or a mentorship. Epictetus said, "Only the educated are free." Teaching frees both student and teacher. Leverage is what transforms effort into impact. The busy man trades hours for money. The wise man builds systems that pay him while he sleeps. Record once, sell forever. Teach once, earn for years. That's not fantasy. It's focus multiplied by time. But wealth without virtue is just another prison. Seneca warned wealth is the slave of a wise man, the master of a fool. The Stoic earns not to boast, but to serve. Purpose purifies profit. When skills mature, assets begin to grow. Marcus never traded stocks yet. His principles built an empire that outlived him by centuries. What we do now echoes in eternity, he wrote. So what will echo from your actions today? Every investment is a reflection of your philosophy. If you value peace, choose stable index funds. If you value impact, support businesses that make the world wiser or cleaner. If you value autonomy, build digital assets that scale your wisdom. Ebooks, courses, or content that keeps earning long after you rest. Passive income is not idleness. It is virtue automated. Each dividend, each royalty, each rent check is gratitude from your past self. According to J.P. Morgan's 2024 report, investors who automated their systems and reinvested dividends achieved 46% higher returns than those who chase trades manually. Patience pays what panic destroys. True freedom isn't the ability to buy everything, it's the ability to need nothing. Marcus wrote, "To be free is the ultimate aim of life." Financial freedom mirrors spiritual freedom, not ownership, but detachment. You are rich not when you have much, but when nothing owns you. The Stoic income engine runs on four invisible fuels: clarity, consistency, compounding, and calm. Clarity gives direction, consistency keeps the pace. Compounding multiplies results. Calm sustains it all. When these four align, you enter the flow where action feels effortless. Marcus called it living according to nature, to act without resistance, to grow without haste. The Stoic doesn't rush to build wealth. He builds the structure that makes wealth inevitable. Consider David, a 48-year-old manager who once felt trapped in success that didn't feel like success. He earned well, but woke each morning with dread. One night he read Marcus' words, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." He closed the book and whispered, "Be one." The next day he promised himself one simple rule: do one thing each day that earns while I sleep. He built a short online course on productivity, then a YouTube channel explaining Stoic lessons for professionals. For months, nothing happened, no audience, no revenue. But he kept going. 18 months later, his quiet systems earned him $3,200 a month. More than the income, it was the peace that changed him. For the first time in 20 years, he said, "My income is silent, and so is my mind." That is the essence of the Stoic engine: wealth without noise growth, without anxiety, success without spectacle. It is not a sprint. It is a symphony of small, deliberate acts. To build your own engine, start by protecting your body as sacred ground. Then strengthen one skill that brings value to others and teach it with integrity. Finally, channel every gain into assets that reflect your purpose. Review weekly, ask yourself, is this driven by virtue or vanity? And adjust before chaos compounds. Your income is the echo of your inner order. Build from greed and it collapses. Build from clarity and it endures. Marcus taught, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When thoughts are disciplined, income becomes peaceful. Imagine your life as an empire of purpose. Your habits are the workers. Your skills are the architects. Your assets are the walls that protect your peace. And you are both ruler and student, emperor and monk. This is Stoic capitalism: wealth built by virtue, preserved by wisdom, multiplied by time. It is not about escaping work, but mastering it. It is not about hoarding riches, but creating rhythm. And as you stand now at the gates of your new empire, know this: the next step is not more doing, but more being. Because in the end, the true engine isn't your portfolio, it's your peace. In the next part, we slow down to reflect. We'll explore the deepest reward of Stoic discipline, the kind of peace that money cannot buy and time cannot steal. A calm so powerful it becomes your final form of wealth. Marcus said, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Build calmly, live quietly, and let your actions echo for eternity. Part 4. A moment of reflection. Every empire ends in silence. Even the mighty Rome, once filled with the roar of victory, now stands in ruins, echoing only the whisper of wind between ancient stones. But what remains? The wisdom, the writings, the calm mind of a man who understood that true wealth cannot decay. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He didn't write it to scare himself. He wrote it to awaken himself, to remember that time is the rarest currency and that the richest person is the one who spends it with purpose. After 40, you no longer chase time, you negotiate with it. You start realizing that every choice either compounds your peace or drains it. And this is where Stoic wealth truly begins. Because financial freedom is not the destination. It is the side effect of mental freedom. And mental freedom begins when you no longer react but reflect. So pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what am I truly building? Is it comfort or character, security or strength? The Stoics would say, the obstacle is not in your way, it is your way. That obstacle could be your debt, your habits, your fear of starting over at 45, but if you look closely, it's not there to stop you. It's there to shape you. In one of his meditations, Marcus wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. He never mentioned profit or possessions. He mentioned presence, because every moment fully lived is interest paid by the universe. After all, what is the purpose of wealth if it costs you your peace? What good is a portfolio that grows while your soul shrinks? Real freedom is when your calendar and your conscience no longer argue. At this point in life, your assets are not just stocks or properties. They are patience, perspective, presence. Your return on investment is measured in mornings you wake up without dread, evenings you end without regret. The Stoic doesn't build his empire on ambition alone. He builds it on acceptance. Not the passive kind, the powerful kind. The kind that says, I cannot control the wind, but I can adjust the sail. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means mastering reality as it is so you can act on it as it should be. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet lake at dawn. The surface is perfectly still. Your reflection stares back at you, not the younger self that chased status, but the wiser self that seeks stillness. In that silence, you realize everything you were chasing was never outside. It was within you, waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. That's the paradox of Stoic wealth. The slower you move, the faster you grow. The less you need, the more you own. The quieter you become, the louder your legacy speaks. Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every hour you spend scrolling through noise is an investment in poverty, poverty of the mind. Every hour spent in reflection, learning, creating is a deposit into the bank of eternity. So how do you build passive peace, not just passive income? The answer is habit, but spiritual habit. Each morning, write down one line, what is within my control today, then act on it with precision. And each night ask yourself, what did I control well today? What did I waste through worry over time? This daily audit compounds clarity. You stop reacting to markets, moods, and mistakes and start responding with calm mastery. The Stoic understands that money can multiply, but meaning must be maintained. Without meaning, wealth rots. With meaning, even scarcity glows. Imagine this: two people with the same income. One spends to feel alive, the other invests to stay alive in spirit and purpose. Same numbers, different worlds. The first builds comfort, the second builds character. Marcus would remind us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So if you want richer days, think richer thoughts. Not of luxury, but of legacy. Your legacy isn't what you leave behind in your will. It's what you leave behind in people's hearts. Every lesson you teach, every person you help, every calm response in a chaotic world, those are your dividends of virtue. When you build passive income with Stoic discipline, you're not escaping work. You're redefining it. You're turning labor into art, stress into structure, ambition into alignment. And the result is not just wealth you can spend, but wisdom you can stand on. There's a moment that comes to every person who embraces Stoicism, a quiet click in the mind, like a gear aligning. You realize that your goals no longer control you, your systems do. Your fears no longer define you, your focus does. And your wealth no longer measures your worth, your peace does. That is the moment you've won. Not when you retire, not when your account hits 7 figures, but when you no longer measure life in currency, only in consciousness. Imagine if Marcus Aurelius lived today. He wouldn't flaunt cars or followers. He'd wake up, write a few words in his journal, exercise, teach wisdom, and invest quietly. He'd remind us that freedom is not found in abundance, but in balance. Seneca said, "He who needs riches least enjoys them most." When you stop needing, you start receiving, not because the universe changes, but because you do. The Stoic path is not about adding more, but removing what weighs you down: the ego, the comparison, the endless noise. You are not behind. You are just beginning at the right depth. If you're 40, 50, or 60, your wealth is not late. It's mature. It carries scars that teach lessons that earn and calm that multiplies. Your portfolio is your patience. Your compounding is your character. And your dividends are measured in days lived deliberately. Financial freedom after 40 isn't about retiring early. It's about awakening early. It's realizing that the empire you've been trying to build outside already exists within. You just needed to manage it better. Marcus wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them." So tonight, when the world goes quiet, step outside. Look at the sky. Remember that you are made of the same dust as the stars that guided emperors. And realize you don't need to conquer the world to feel infinite. You only need to conquer yourself. So let's end where we began. The secret to financial freedom after 40 isn't money. It's mastery. Mastery over impulses, mastery over fear, mastery over time. Because when you master yourself, you master your income. When you master your thoughts, you master your destiny. That's the Stoic way, not to escape life, but to engage with it with grace, strength, and serenity. To build wealth from the inside out in peace that no market crash can touch. And if you've made it here listening to these words, perhaps something inside you already knows. You were never meant to chase wealth. You were meant to embody it. Now take your next breath slowly, write your next decision wisely, and live your next day stoically. Because that and that alone is how you build passive income after 40 and an active, peaceful life forever. If this message spoke to you, if it stirred something quiet but powerful inside you, then don't let it fade. You've just taken the first step toward mastering wealth, not through luck, but through wisdom. Subscribe to Making Life Better, a channel built for thinkers, doers, and dreamers who want more than money, who want meaning. Every week I share practical Stoic lessons drawn from philosophy, psychology, and modern finance tools that help you earn calmly, live wisely, and lead courageously. We talk about building not just portfolios, but peace, not just income streams, but integrity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So be that person, the calm in chaos, the builder of both wealth and virtue. Hit subscribe to Making Life Better and join thousands of others creating lives of freedom, focus, and fulfillment. Don't just chase success. Embody wisdom. Because the greatest investment you'll ever make is in the quality of your mind.